Welcome back to another episode of Footy with the Boys. We have some pretty gorgeous kits on here today, boys. I see Nick, you're with the repping the league leading Gunners here. How are you feeling all the way there at
Really?
the top of the table?
Oh, it's lonely at the top, but we managed to survive. Feeling
Let's not let the head get too high here after the 1 week here up on top, especially knowing what happened last season. But Mike, what kit are you rocking today?
Little throwback to the NASL days. This is DC Diplomats Johan Cruyff jersey
Damn,
Ooh,
for
that
all
is a
you
pull, bro.
NASL fans.
Mike's a
That is a
big
pull.
dipper, bro.
That's
Huge dipper.
that's a boy. A Cruyff jersey from NASL. That's something. Mike continues with his obscure pulls here with different teams and jerseys. I got the U.S. kit from the 2010 World Cup. You know how we
Class.
do. That was a hell of a tournament. So thought we'd get the Go USA with Landon Donovan's late minute goal back to the pod to give it some good energy. Uh, Before we get into the Prem here, we just had a lot of Champions League group of death with Newcastle in the Prem, living up to the group of death billing. Any team can go through still at this point. Dortmund, don't know if we would have predicted for them to be the first one to guarantee their spot through. Uh, who do you guys think makes it out with Dortmund? You think PSG with Mbappe? You think it's Newcastle or Milan? Mike, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with PSG. I don't think Dortmund will, walk into this game. They still want to get top spot, I'm sure. Um, PSG's got a lot of quality, and I think they'll have enough.
Nick, any upset alerts here?
sure, yeah, give me Milan. Why not? Fuck Newcastle. Hope they lose. Last in the group. And PSG, they've been frauds for a while, so PSG will probably go through. But why not? Let's say it's the boys in San Siro up Pulisic.
Up Pulisic, up the Moose
I hope
up,
it's Milan.
mighty
I hope it's
Moose. Yeah, if Milan and Dortmund get through, that is 2 out of 2 Americans through the group, and I will be a happy man. Don't know if that's going to happen. Think it might be Dortmund PSG, but we'll hope that Milan at least get to Europa League. That's what we're going for at this point, is at least be in Europe. And Nick, I am so glad that you said all your wonderful glowing reviews about Newcastle, because Newcastle is in my featured game of the week, and it's against the team that you also have some glowing reviews for. It is Manchester United. That is right. It is Newcastle. Manchester United is our first featured game of the week. This is a game that I don't know exactly how this is going to look. I feel as if Newcastle is going to dominate the game here, and Manchester United might sneak out a draw or a 1-0 win somehow with some random bad VAR call. Just a gut feeling I have. Mike, I'm going for you for the Newcastle perspective because Nick seems to be largely biased against them at the moment. What do you think Newcastle is expecting out of this game, and what should we expect out of them in this game?
I think they're expecting a win. I think they're expecting a majority of the ball and the ability to create quite a few attacks coming through their wingers, Gordon and Almiron, most likely on the wings. Not a whole lot of options with their injuries. And I think they probably expect to dominate the middle of the park as well. Um, they have more quality in their midfield three at the moment than Manchester United does. We'll see an interesting battle of teenagers. Luis Hall and Kabi Manu, the 18-year-old and the 17-year-old going head to head. Both ballers. That'll be fun to watch. But yeah, I give it to Newcastle here. I think Man U will have some scrap in them, but Newcastle's a better team, and I don't think Manchester United will really be able to attack all that threateningly.
And Nick, I think Mike makes some good points. The way that Newcastle plays has been much more aesthetically pleasing to watch. but yet Manchester United has the more points. They are ugly ball playing their way to a pretty good spot in the table. Can that work here against an actual top team, or is it just you're playing the ugly ball, getting 1-0s against not so great teams? They are coming off their first multi-goal win in almost a year. So, what are you expecting out of Manchester United in this game? Can they keep that kind of scoring touch going, or is Newcastle going to have their way?
First of all, I'm not fucking biased, okay? I call him how I see him, and what I see here is two pussyfoot teams that don't know how to play soccer well. I don't know what you're talking about with like Newcastle being aesthetically pleasing. All they do is just bully people around, and because St. James is such a fucking dope place to play, referees are too scared to make any calls. So they just go 2-footed into every fucking tackle and cry when anything goes against them. Man U is horrible. They're bad. Both of them will be tired. They'll both Newcastle play today. Man U will play tomorrow against Galatasaray. So, I if Man U wasn't playing tomorrow or even this week, I would give them a little bit of hope to get a tie. Like out of St. James, just because Newcastle is so fucking depleted right now. But I mean, at St. James, and both of these teams with injuries, both of them tired. I like Newcastle to get the win here. Um, if they could both lose, that's what I would go for. But I do think Newcastle gets a result. Hopefully, it's the beginning of some serious truth telling about Man U because this game is really tomorrow Galatasaray, but from there on it's going to start like a murderer's row of big games for Man U. So uh, we're going to find out what the real Man United looks like, and I think that people on this pod are going to be pretty happy about what the real Man United looks like. So.
God, I hope so.
Very much so going to be a nut up or shut up moment for Manchester United here. This could prove that their ugly style play can still get them far if they end up getting results. Newcastle, I think similarly, nut up or shut up. If you want to be considered one of these top teams with all this oil money backing you, start beating the teams that aren't playing well. Mike did say that they do have some young players coming in. We'll see how they hold up in kind of a more intense environment like St. James. But we do have a game that Mike is featuring this week. He also, just a little spoiler, might have this as a lock of the week. So, Mike, why don't you run us through what you're thinking is going to happen in Liverpool Fulham? A real David versus Goliath at the moment.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Liverpool Fulham is my lock of the week, but my featured game of the week is Manchester City Spurs. Let's not get this twisted here. I don't want to cover Liverpool Fulham. I don't think anybody wants me to cover Liverpool Fulham, except for maybe a handful of Liverpool fans out there.
I just got baited
but
so hard.
yes, you did.
Yeah, not gonna lie. Google Docs are hard to read sometimes.
We'll get to my prediction for that game later, but my prediction here is going to be pretty similar. And I'm taking Manchester City. If it was at Tottenham, I would be a little bit more hesitant. Man City's record there, not so great throughout the last couple of seasons, even when they're playing really well. Tottenham's banged up. No matter what backline they put out, the dudes they have available are just not going to be able to cope with Manchester City's attack. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a goal fest. I don't expect Big Ange to really adapt his game. He hasn't done it so far. Why would he do it now? That would be like some profound, oh my God, I need to change, which he should do, but don't expect it. Tottenham's going to come out firing. If they don't get a goal early, they won't get a goal. And I think Manchester City will get a few.
All right. And some beautiful ASMR during that analysis by our producer.
Thanks, producer.
I forgot I'm not muted for you guys too.
Moan my fucking ear, bro.
I just yawned so good, bro.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
he's not as entertained about this preview here, but Nick, this one you are a big Spurs hater, and you have to be licking your lips at this one. Ange Postecoglou style versus Manchester City. They are going to be rocking it up there. They don't have the depth. They're not looking great. And Manchester City can put away goals like none other. Are we looking at a rout here, Nick?
This saying is true. And I kind of like Spurs to get a draw this weekend. Spurs always play Man City really tough.
Where's this coming
Again,
from?
Where
this
is
is
guy every other week?
This is
this
unprecedented.
is completely this is completely against form, completely against all logic. Every single one of you are right. And if you guys end up being right and I'm wrong, that is perfectly acceptable because that is what should happen. I don't know why though, but Spurs always play City hella tough. There's always good and like even last year I think like Spurs were the first team to beat City in the league. So it's just I don't know. It feels like they
They
kind of have
do.
their number. So I wouldn't be surprised with the draw is what I'm saying. Um, I am praying to God that logic holds and that Spurs get trounced and we see their ship go further and further down as they start flirting with the Conference League. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. If you're a Spurs fan, I think you have a tad bit of hope. History showed us a certain thing.
I think key to this game, Youngmin's son, if he's on a heater, he can be that difference maker for Tottenham to get a minute. But if he's not clicking like we saw last week, if he's having an off game, there's not enough around him to make up for it. Could get a little scary for the boys in dark blue. I don't even know. Anyways, uh, we go over to the rivals of our Tottenham Hotspur team. It is the mighty Arsenal, our league leaders at the moment by a full point. And they're going to be playing Producer P's Mighty Wolves squad. Mighty Wolves squad that just got done a little dirty by Fulham with a VAR decision. We'll play the clip here if you're watching on YouTube. If not, I'll orate it. Essentially, there's a guy in the box and he does not get touched at all. The Wolves defender hits the ball there. Don't see any contact with the foot. Maybe slightly at the end, he steps on a toe after he gets the ball. Wolves have had a pattern of having some bad VAR decisions against them.
It's called getting fucked.
Yeah, well, they might come in with quite of a vengeance of that exact reason, getting fucked. Nick, what's your worry scale against a team that, yes, just lost to Fulham, who hasn't been in their best form, but a Wolves team that has been streaking up the table a bit versus an Arsenal team that, yes, top the table, but have not looked their best as of recent. What are you thinking of this game? What are the keys for Arsenal to make sure you avoid an upset?
I think it's at the end, so that feels good. We're gonna have the boys behind us. Molyneux's a tough place to play, so that's good. Um, I don't. You said we haven't really had form as of late. Aside from the City game, honestly, I don't think we've played our best football at any point throughout the year. And part of that is just because like we're a lot more defensively sound team now. Like that Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice in the middle of the pitch is just so dependable, and like we have the fewest goals allowed in the league. So like we're coming into a more controlled and teams are playing low blocks against us. So we're not seeing like the fluid football that we saw last year that made a lot of people fall in love. Um, but I mean, we keep finding a way, and I think we still can do that against Wolves. Wolves are a good team. The counter will be dangerous, but I mean, the power that we have in that back five is insane right now. Ben White doesn't get enough credit with like how well everyone else is performing too. So he should be back, I think, for the weekend. Um, so yeah, I feel Palmer, I think we gotta do like a little bet or something. I think loser wears a dress to the next pod. And I
I
think
uh,
that's
I agree with that. I was going to tell you I looked up the score for the game this morning because I didn't watch a second of it, and I also found out that we got fucked pretty hard. Um,
yep.
with that being said, as soon as I heard that, I just felt it in my soul. I had a fucking premonition that we're gonna win the next game. It's just one of those feelings. It's like you're gonna win the next game, and it was about 10 minutes ago that I found out it was against Arsenal. So I'm sorry to hear that, Nick, but you're gonna have to take an L this week. Hopefully
Right.
Tottenham can
So
beat Man City too.
So bet loser wears a dress.
All right, bet.
You got
This is
nice
just
titties too, so it'll work out
Nick
great.
trying to be a cross-dresser here, but that's all right. We support it. We support it, Nick. Whatever you want. Mike, Palmer has a premonition. How much stake are you giving to his premonition here?
Hey, dreams are dreams, and reality is reality. Um, unless Wolves are really just the giant beaters, they could prove it here. I mean, they beat City already. They beat Arsenal. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. But no, I don't think it's going to happen. Um, we saw it last week. Arsenal didn't play all that well against Brentford. They still got it done. They still limited Brentford's opportunities. They had a few. I think David Raya will probably be in goal again.
You
think
hope.
He's 100% bet.
think McKell's like, you know what? Ramsdale, not at it right now. So I expect to see a strong squad. It'll be interesting to see the game tomorrow. I think Arsenal plays Lens at home.
Mhm.
So see what they do with the squad there, if there's any rotation. And I expect if they get a victory tomorrow, that they will continue that form right into the weekend.
I think really no matter what happens, if they get a loss, they're going to come in even harder into Wolves, and I think they could also just ride the momentum from Champions League straight into it.
No one comes in the Wolves, especially hard.
Ah, Jesus. All right. Well,
Oh boy.
Arsenal versus Wolves. It will be an interesting one. A similar game like they had last weekend with Brentford, with a surging team up the table. But now we move into alternate universe Mike's featured game of the week. It was Liverpool Fulham. This
Yeah,
game,
baby.
I could see Fulham sneaking
Shut
something
up.
out. They have gotten unlucky at the end of a few games, got lucky at the end of the last one. Is the luck turning around? Is my question, Mike. What are we thinking? Are we thinking Tim Ream, the American Dream, and Jedi Robinson, the goal scoring machine for the U.S.? Can they shut down Mo Salah and that ragtag crew over there at Liverpool?
Uh, all the love in the world for Jedi Robinson and Tim Ream, but no, they surely cannot. Maybe Jedi can limit Salah a little bit. He'll be on his side, but with the rest of the guys that Liverpool has, they're going to get a lot of opportunities. They're going to have the ball most of the time. And Fulham scored 3 goals this past week, but they're not a convincing goal scoring side. Two of those goals come from Willian penalties, and he's a phenomenal penalty taker. But goals from open play are just far and few in between. Salah, he'll get on the sheet one way or another. He got clamped up against City and still found his way on there with an assist. So yeah, I'm expecting quite an easy victory for Liverpool here.
All right. And Nick, let's put you in the manager room for Fulham. You're Mr. Silva over here now. You're telling your team how you're going to go about this game to beat Liverpool. What are you telling this Fulham team to see if they can get a result?
Yeah, I think they gotta like try and just play through the midfield, or sorry, over the midfield. Because again, that high pressing, I've been saying a lot of like this midfield isn't very strong, but I haven't really taken into account like just how high Liverpool press. And I mean, if you have players that can run in the midfield, it does work. So if they can get Vinicius or whoever's playing the 9 for them to like maybe get a little wide and pin up on one of the outside backs instead of one of the center backs, I think they could spring some nice counters there. Um, but honestly, I'm saying I don't think any of that's gonna happen. I'm saying like play the fucking low block and hopefully Nunez has a day off. Um, double up on Salah the entire game and pray that they don't score a worldie because they're very capable of doing that. I give no chance to Fulham in this game, even for a draw. It's at Anfield. I think Mike is a huge pussy for putting this as his lock of the week.
Hey, you got to take the opportunities
Having
they're given to you.
some choice words this week for quite a lot of these teams and picks. But I think if you're Fulham, the only thing you want to do is it's like 2012 LeBron. Just shut down LeBron, let the other players beat you, and if you lose to them, so be it. But yeah, I wouldn't give Fulham too much of a chance here. Google has them get at a 9% chance of a win here. 14% chance at a draw. I don't think they'd be too upset with that one. We go to another game that is the Graham Potter Derby here. It is Chelsea versus Brighton. This is an interesting one here because Brighton have been in quite the skid in terms of their form. Chelsea still trying to figure it out a bit, have shown some bit of flashes, but certainly nothing consistent. Nick, I'll go to you first here. Is it a bigger game for Chelsea to get this win and prove some type of consistency, get some type of good result? Or is it a bigger game for Brighton, who, not getting a lot of points recently, need to start getting their form back?
A bigger game for it's got to be a bigger game for Chelsea. I think this is a pretty like big measuring stick game for them. Like I think that if you're who you think you are and who you've been saying you are these last couple of games, you got to beat a struggling Brighton team that honestly just doesn't have the horses right now. Their squad doesn't look great. I know Ferguson and Matoma are ballers, and João Pedro's playing well. They're still waiting on Estupinian getting back. But I mean, Lewis Dunk is out, right, with a red card. Like, I don't know. This one feels like if you are going to seriously start trying to creep up that table into like the top 8, the second half of the season, this feels like a game that you have to win to prove that you're actually at that level. Because right now, the Brighton, West Ham, Chelsea like tier, that's where they are. Like that is the 3 teams there that I feel pretty comfortable around the same. So I think if you're Chelsea, you want like a pretty decidingly convincing result here.
All right. Yeah, I think Chelsea has a lot of pressure on them. Mike, it is a 6-pointer either way around here. Either helps Chelsea get awfully close within striking distance of Brighton's 8th position, or it could cement Brighton a lot higher than that 10th place position, Chelsea. Same question to you. Who is this a bigger game for, Brighton or Chelsea?
Um, I agree with Nick. It's got to be a bigger game for Chelsea, um, with the little bit of form they've had recently, the amount they've had invested in this club, and who they say they are. They're Chelsea. They're supposed to be a top 6 club. You lose this game, there's a good chance you're down into like 14th or 12th, depending on how some of these other games go, and then it's looking real reminiscent of last season, and you're putting the pieces back together. Um, this is a very winnable game. Brighton hasn't looked all that great since the beginning of the season. Um, they have some players they're missing. Their midfield is continuing to be their weak spot. Um, Chelsea missing a fair amount of players as well, for sure. Reece James is going to be suspended. That'll play into it. But they need this one. I think they'll get it done. The real question is, are there going to be 4 goals in this game? Chelsea's had 4 goals for them, 2 games in a row, and then conceded 4. That seems to be their lucky number. We'll see which way it goes this week.
I would say if it had to be 4, I would choose Brighton in this one. More likely to get the 4. But I think this has a huge psychological effect on Chelsea because if you get up to 19 points, you are still on track for getting up that table a bit more. If you drop and you're at 16, all these other teams have this chance to beat you. When you're that low on the table, it definitely hurts the psyche a bit. Huge game for Chelsea here. So keep an eye out for that one. That is it for our top 6. And running around the rest of the league, we start with our Toffees, Mike, needing a good result here against a team that has not looked too solid recently. It is Nottingham Forest versus our Toffees. A game that I'm saying I would expect Everton to win. I think they're a step above this Nottingham Forest team. Are you looking at it the same way there, Mike?
Yeah, I think throughout the starting 11, we're stronger, um, especially coming out of the back with Pickford and then the 4 in front of him. We definitely stack up quite a bit better than Nottingham does. Um, I'd say their attacking talent definitely, outs us a little bit. They have more creative players for sure. I still like DCL as a striker. This is going to be a tight one. At Nottingham, we fucking need the points. We really, really do. And this has got to be a game that we think we're going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised with the draw here, and I wouldn't be too upset with it.
Nick, you're an outsider to it. Have some type of empathy towards the Toffees here, but I want your opinion here. Would you categorize this game, looking at Everton's position, 4 points, getting out of the relegation zone is at 9, so it's nothing too crazy, but we are 13 games in, and a loss against a team that would be rather winnable would be, I would say, a bad loss. Is this a must win for Everton here?
So yeah, I think it is a must win. Like you said, there's a lot of good fucking teams in this league, and Nottingham Forest currently is not one of them. So if you're Everton, I'm not saying Everton is one of the good teams, but if you're Everton, this is an. I mean, listen, you got fucked. The whole world knows it, but this is your chance, and you have to take it to fight your way out. This is your new reality. So yeah, I'd be 100% fine calling it a must win. Um, even a draw, I think, hurts Everton.
Yep. I honestly think the same. I think this year's Prem is so competitive with so many teams fighting for getting inside that top 10, top half of the table. I don't think you can allow a game against a Nottingham Forest team that has been struggling and leaking goals to just slip from this team. Hopefully, Everton can capitalize on it. Have not done the best job at capitalizing against bad teams so far. But, a new week here, and the boys will definitely be amped up after corruption that's been put against them. And another team that really is going to be looking for some form. They've won just one in their last 5. It is Crystal Palace going up against a West Ham team that has also not looked that convincing as of late. Had to have some late game heroics to pull one out last week versus Burnley. Nick, neither of these teams are coming in here flying high. But who do you expect to come out of this? I think these teams are starting to settle into a similar range of their play.
I still think West Ham's a cut above London derby, so always going to be a wild affair. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it's at the London Stadium for the West Ham home game. So um, I'll give it to the home team. I think West Ham pulls it out. But I would love to see another Olise banger because even though Garnacho had that sick bike, Olise's goal got overshadowed a little bit. But oh my God, did he curl one in top in? So um, happy to see him back. I do think the Hammers will have enough to win.
All right, Mike. Like he said, Olise is back and he's in some fine form after that golazo last week. Is he enough to get a result here for Crystal Palace? West Ham not looking the greatest. 2 wins out of their last 2, 3 losses before that, and boy, that last win was not convincing. Is Crystal Palace due for a win here? Maybe just a draw.
They might be due, but I think West Ham's going to get it done. Uh, Olise's not enough. He might be enough on the attacking end, but the back line has to step up. I think they're have some quality players, especially the 2 center backs, but haven't looked at recently. 2
Yeah,
bad
they're
losses
pretty
if you're Crystal
bad,
Palace.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they lose against Luton. Some of that is they're really poor on marking set pieces, and that's what's going to kill you against a weaker side. Luton took full advantage of that, and then they lose 3-2 to Everton the week before. Fucking love it for me, but if you're Crystal Palace, you're like, we could see the 3 against Everton, who really couldn't buy a goal most of the season. So yeah, it's going to start with the back line. I think they'll be fine up top, but West Ham, although they haven't been as convincing as we thought they might have beginning of the year, they're getting some results. They're showing some class, especially up top in the midfield. Kudus coming into his own. So I think West Ham gets it done, especially being at home.
Yep. I think also from just a viewer side of things, this will be an entertaining game to watch. There's a lot of entertaining players. Elise and Kudus
Definitely.
are 2 just wild dribblers, very technical, fun to watch. So if you're looking for just player watching, certainly a good game to go to. And boys, we have a very hot team here. The Bournemouth Cherries, they're going to be putting their form with 3 wins in their last 4 up against Aston Villa, who is currently in the top 4 of the entire league. Nick, are we so back on the Cherries, or are they needing this win for you to jump back on the bandwagon?
Um, a lot of things are happening in my head. One, I think Aston Villa is now a bona fide Champions League contender. The last time I said I trusted Villa, they dropped 2 in a row. So we'll see what happens there. And God damn it, the Cherries are back in my head, man. I don't know what to think, but I'll tell you what, if Bournemouth get the result, I don't expect them to, but if they get a win, even a draw, honestly, I think I'm fully back, and on Sunday I'm gonna be screaming "I told you so" to all you listeners, because God damn did I tell you so. But if they lose, I'm out. I was
Yeah.
never in. I'm out.
But if you lose, you're never on them.
I
Mike,
was never on.
Bournemouth has not been one to inspire too much confidence throughout the season. Recently, it's been a little different, but Aston Villa has been a team that has been pretty consistently good, but also have had their fair share of games that make zero sense why they don't get results. Is this one of those games? Does it have the potential for that, or are you thinking Aston Villa? They're streaking too hard right now. 4 wins in the last 5.
Aston Villa lock.
Wow.
Watched some Bournemouth highlights this past weekend. I was like, wow, they're kind of class. They're doing something. And then I realized who they're playing. It's Sheffield. One of those goals comes from the goalkeeper coming out, picking daisies outside his box. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Um, and that's just not going to happen against Aston Villa. They're too well organized. The players are too quality. And they really, really can attack. They'll spread this Bournemouth defense. I expect a big victory.
Yeah. I think Bournemouth were a bit gifted in that Sheffield game. The delivery from the back for Sheffield was high school JV level at that point. But who knows? Aston Villa can have some mess ups too, and they do have some decent talent on that team with Kluivert, with Solanke. So who knows?
Tavernier. Tavernier.
And
Sydney.
a sneaky Tyler Adams. He's always a good inspiration from the bench, recovering from injury. So you always have to factor that part in. Now we
For
have
sure.
another team that starts with B that has been a streaky team so far. It is our Brentford Bees. Man, for this one, it has some implications for our Everton. We hope they keep buzzing here against Luton Town. Mike, do you see them buzzing their way past this Luton Town team?
I do. I do. Luton's victory against Crystal Palace, little bit unexpected. We've covered that. But what Brentford has right now that Crystal Palace is lacking is pretty good consistency, especially throughout the middle of the pitch. They made it tough for Arsenal, who is a very, very good team, as we know. And I think they're just way, way more organized, well, better coached than Crystal Palace is. So Luton won't have those few chances that they did in the previous game. And I think Brentford will be able to break them down. I don't expect them to score a whole lot of goals. That's not really what they do. But I think it'll be a comfortable victory.
Yep. And Nick,
And I hope
like
so
Mike said,
for Arsenal.
tough game against Arsenal. They made it tough on you guys. What were the keys? What can Luton Town do here to potentially unlock the Brentford team? Or do you think it is as hard as they made it on Arsenal? There's just not a chance for our poor Luton Town.
This game's gonna be nothing like the Arsenal game. Brentford's gonna come out to play. They're capable of playing, especially against a fucking championship team, which is what Luton is. Crystal Palace had a bad game. So I don't see any way that Luton's able to get a result. You know me, I'm gonna back Thomas Frank. I love the work that he does in the box. Big box guy, me too. So I think that ultimately he's gonna be able to like organize this side, like Mike said, very good organization, great coaching, great guy. And I mean, and no one on Luton can hold in Bomo's jockstrap like like that, and that's just one player. I like Brentford a lot. I think that's a team I trust to beat shitty teams. I don't really trust Crystal Palace to do that, if I'm honest. But But Brentford, I think they are who they are. They're gonna beat bad teams and they're gonna make it hard for good teams, even if they don't get results.
Yeah, I think, and I want to get your guys' opinions on this. I feel like Brentford, the attackers they have are like wildly good against bad teams, and they're all right against big teams. They're not quality enough to get on those big teams, but compared to the bad teams, they are game changers. They're very good. Would you guys agree with that statement?
Kind of. I think it's also kind of a matter of circumstance. I could see Mbomo and Wisa, and most certainly Ivan Toney when he's available, on some bigger teams, on a Brighton, on a West Ham, on a Aston Villa, maybe even some of the bigger squads. Man, you could use a few of these guys at the moment. So yeah, they really score against the lower teams, but they're getting less opportunities against the bigger teams, less moments to shine. So I don't think it's really they are playing better against the worst opponents. I think it's just kind of the opportunities they get.
Nick, you feel the same way, or you think they get that extra confidence boost to pull out some more quality from them against the smaller two sides?
I think it's what I said. Like they're clearly better than bad teams, and they're clearly good enough to give good teams a hard time. Same with the attackers. I will say though, I think like those guys
Eddie
get a lot of
Nketiah,
credit.
like, eh?
I think Wiesland and Bomo get a lot of credit, but Ethan Pinnock might be one of my favorite center backs in the league. I know like he doesn't really get the love he deserves, but that dude gets his head on everything. It's just like classic rock center back. So very dependable. I like that guy a lot.
Big head
Um,
guy.
big head guy, and
Head in the box.
his head in the box. That's what Thomas Frank preaches, and Pinnock delivers every time. So that gets me going.
All right, we need to get off this game before Nick gets any further in his analysis here. It's getting a little sus out here, but we move on to what is all of our featured game of the week, the premier matchup. It is Burnley Sheffield. It is the toilet bowl. Who is going to be the worst team in the Prem here? Boys, I feel pretty strongly that Burnley ends up winning this game, but I could also see them both losing somehow. Nick, what are you expecting to see from this game? And will it be just like the Bears Vikings of the NFL, where it's just both teams trying to lose and whoever comes out on top at the end comes out on top?
I'm not expecting to see shit because I'm not going to watch a second of this game. I hope Julio Show plays well and then joins the U.S. men's national team.
Mike, what are you expecting to see from this absolute barn burner?
Dude, you could see it. Burnley's expected to win by big margin here, and that just shows you how bad Sheffield is. I don't care how bad Burnley is. Burnley's they're last. They're last in the league right now. They're on 4 points. They have one win. They have one draw. They're behind Sheffield, but Sheffield is just a disgrace to the fucking Premier League. I don't care. I don't care if I offend anybody. They don't belong here. They're hurting my eyes. They provide nothing. They're not convincing that they're a good championship side, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm taking Burnley. It's going to be a scrap fest. It's going to be ugly, but Burnley's going to get it done.
All right. Burnley snapping their long losing streak here to get their second win is what we're predicting here. I hope Luca Kolyosho can get some goal contributions on the board and then commit to the U.S. after one of his goals. Who knows? You know, just one man's opinion. But that does it for our week in the Prem. And just like Luca Colio's show, we love the U.S. here. So we go into the U.S. men's national team corner. We don't have too many amazing updates. Pulisic had a loss in the Champions League today versus Dortmund. Guess you consider that a Reina win. He's not really playing much at all at Dortmund at the moment. Potentially looking for a loan move out in January. Heard some rumors about Ajax, heard some rumors about Brighton, heard some rumors about a whole lot of places that people are at least getting a temperature check on him. Anthony Robinson in Monday's game versus Wolves got an assist on the first goal for Fulham, so he continues his goal contribution form that he had in the U.S. camp. And finally, I want you guys' opinions on this. Jesse Marsch today in the Champions League coverage said golden generation for this U.S. men's national team with a question mark, and said this team does not have a signature win yet. Nothing that makes you think, wow, they shouldn't have won that, and they came out and made a statement. I think people were saying it's calling out Greg Berhalter. I think it is, and I think it's 100% true. There has not been a statement win. They've beat the teams that they're expected to beat and also lost to a lot of teams they're expected to beat. I don't think they've pulled out any great, crazy results that they weren't expected to. Mike, starting with you, is Jesse Marsch wrong for saying this? And is Greg Berhalter the guy that can create an unexpected result?
No, he's not wrong for saying this. Don't know what his intentions are necessarily. Maybe it's just a piece of buzz for the media. It certainly has an aspect to that. Yeah, he could be calling out Greg. I think he's calling out the team as a whole, or maybe the federation as a whole. And I think he's pretty much spot on. We don't have a win where it's really something to hang our hat on. I think the closest thing we have to it is a draw against England in the World Cup, and that is exactly what it is, a draw. So you can only have so much backing behind that. I think we'll have chances for a statement win, and I think that comes this summer in the Copa America when we can play some legitimate squads, the Uruguays, Brazils, Argentinas, even Colombia would be a pretty good win. I think they're pretty close to us in quality, and we don't get to play those South American sides that often. So I am looking forward to that, and I'm hoping we do get a statement win in that tournament.
Nick, I would say every World Cup game is a chance for a statement win. Don't think any of the games, even against the win against Iran, was necessarily a type of statement. Can you consider a draw versus England a statement? Can you consider winning versus Mexico when they're so weak a statement? Do you think there is some type of big win that you can point to that Greg Berhalter has shown a great result from?
They got Balogun to flip his commitment, so that's nice. I think that's
This win.
that's the biggest
He's the
statement
Nick
in the past
Saban
couple
of
years.
national teams.
Yeah. It shows a little ambition, honestly. Like, oh no, you can't. I mean, that's loser talk if you're talking about a draw as your statement win. It's not a win. So no, that's loser talk. I hope Jesse was fucking calling out Berhalter. Was he interested in the job though, or like?
His agent put out some tweets after saying that Jesse Marsch would not be the head coach that seemed a little salty. And I guess there were some rumors that Matt Crocker was looking at Jesse Marsch as the better option, but the Federation was looking more towards Greg Berhalter coming back. So take that with a grain of
Yeah,
salt,
bro.
but could
Talk
imagine
your
he's
shit.
not
Talk your
thinking
shit,
too
Jesse
better.
Marsh. Fuck Jesse Marsh. They fucked him over, I guess. Maybe, who knows? But the Federation is, I mean, they're clowns. They hired Berhalter after an 8-month search or whatever to replace Berhalter. Like, well, what are we doing? So, um, yeah, I'd say he's 100% right, and he should say it in more clearer terms. And because I don't know if he's trying to like protect that relationship or not, but I'd be cool with him just going scorched earth on the Federation.
Yeah, honestly, I think he should say something just like this to light a bit of a fire under them, make them prove it, have a big Copa America, and if they don't have a big Copa America, how long are you going to wait with Greg Berhalter to prove something before you realize he's not the guy for pushing it to the next level? I think he's a great coach for maintaining their level. But that is our U.S. men's national team corner. And now we get into something we've already talked about a bit, and why Mike might be a bit of a bitch for his selection. It is the lock of the week.
Maybe.
Mike, I think the Fulham game could be competitive. Don't think it will be, but it could be. It could be. Uh, Mike, so we'll start with you. What was your score prediction? Liverpool, Fulham. How much are the Cottagers winning by?
Ooh, sorry, Flex. It's a 2-0 going towards the Dragons, Liverpool. There was no really debate here who was going to win the game. It was just what's the margin going to be, and I settled on 2-0. Seems likely to me.
All right. Yeah, I know. I can't really debate with that too much. But maybe Jedi Robinson will just absolutely pocket Salah, and Tim Ream will, I don't know, just
Score a worldie.
Let Darwin Nunez shoot and get some goal kicks out of it. Nick, your lock of the week is a game that you have some strong opinions on. Who do you have winning, and what's the score here?
Yeah, I got Newcastle over Man U. Again, St. James, tough place to play. Both of them, not a lot of rest. Um, may the downfall continue and may it really begin for Man U on the table. Let's go Newcastle 3, Manchester United 1.
All right, Newcastle 3, Manchester United 1. Yeah, there we go. Manchester United 1. Honestly, Manchester United don't have too much faith in them getting too many goals. I don't think a goal against Newcastle would be the worst thing for them. But my lock of the week is including your Arsenal, Nick. It is the mighty Arsenal retaining their top of the league status with a 2-1 win over Palmer's Wolves. I think Arsenal will get it done here. That's not exactly the score I said, Palmer. I think you may be adjusting for your fandom.
That'd be awesome.
But I do think that Wolves end up getting one. I think that they do have some quality in the attack, and that could find their way in to get one. I think it'll probably be 2-0, and then Wolves find their way back into the game with one. But like you said earlier, Arsenal's pretty defensively solid. So, all right, let's not mark that as incorrect.
Also,
quite
I don't
yet.
have whatever your pick was on 11-8, so that's a wash for you.
All right, I'll try to remember what I had chosen for that one. But that is all of our locks. Now we go into the segment that has made us all argue quite a bit about quite a lot. It is the one question with producer P. He's already made quite a few statements and ASMR sounds during this episode, so
I'm on
I can
fire,
only
bro.
imagine this question will be a good one. Palmer, take it away.
All right, boys. So let me paint the picture here for you. All right. It is
Oh boy.
almost a year ago, last December 18th, the FIFA World Cup final is being played, France versus Argentina. And Lionel Messi comes out with his first ever World Cup win, right?
Yes.
Everyone calls him the GOAT.
happened.
He finally gets that big win that he's kind of been going for his whole career. I think. I don't know. I'm not a fan, but
Yes.
would you say in that moment that Lionel Messi was the most famous person on the planet?
No.
No, I'd say yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Worldwide, yeah.
Like alive?
Yeah.
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 Oh. Oh,
Otherwise, it's
yeah, maybe.
What are you thinking? Like Genghis Khan?
No, like I think Hitler or Jesus is always gonna be the most famous people.
I was
You're
gonna say
back.
Michael Jackson or something like that. You go Hitler.
Or Jesus. All right.
I don't know, maybe not because he's not super cute. So like, there's a lot of thirsty people out there. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
think
like
he's cute.
worldwide, soccer the biggest sport, Messi the biggest player, and he just won a World Cup, so he's everywhere. I think probably
It's him or
in that
Ronaldo.
moment most
Yeah.
famous.
I was gonna
But
say like the ones that would kind of go up against him are maybe Donald Trump or like
Taylor Swift.
nowadays Taylor Swift. A year ago, I don't know.
Do you think right now Taylor Swift or Lionel Messi is more recognizable? If you showed a picture of both on the street everywhere in the world, who do you think gets recognized more?
Everywhere in
Is
the
Messi
world.
wearing a jersey? If Messi's wearing a jersey, it's Messi. If he's in street clothes, he's probably like the 1,000th. No one knows who he
Yeah,
looks like.
I think you give him
Like,
the
who's that
jersey.
little man?
I think you give
that
him the
little man?
jersey.
How
Yeah, I
many-
think you give him the front of the jersey.
how much taller would Lionel Messi have to get in order for him to give up his World Cup? Like,
Doesn't exist.
it's definitely not like 3 inches. But if you told Leo like you're 6'4", like do you think he'd give it all up?
Bro, I don't think he would give
Fuck
up that
no, dude.
World Cup trophy for anything in the world.
I don't know, man.
I'd give up all my height for a World Cup trophy. Dude. You can make me 3 feet tall.
I would not. Just
Bro, I'd be 5'5". I'd be Maradona size for a World Cup trophy.
I'd definitely be
I'd be a
5'7".
certified LP for a World Cup jersey, man.
I would
Dude, I'd
easily be
give up my height for a
5'7".
World Cup cap. Not even a trophy, dude. Just to play
you
one.
wouldn't even be on the team, bro. What do you mean?
Dude, I'm saying if I could. I'm not giving it up for a chance to be on the team. If I'm on the team, I'll give it
I'm
up.
not giving up to be a
Oh wait. So
spectator.
you're saying like to trade your height to be really fucking good at soccer and win USA World Cup?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay, yeah. Well, to do that, right?
Okay. New question. How many inches would you give up of your height? How low would you go in terms of height for the US or Nick, if Colombia is more you're calling, for them to win? You're not on the team, but as a fan, how much height would you give up to watch your nation win the World Cup?
0.
I'm giving up 5. That's the most I'm willing to do.
5 inches.
It's a lot, but for the boys,
Holy shit. How tall are you? You're like
I-
6'1"?
Yeah, I think right on 5 inches, go down to like my Messi height.
yeah, 5'7", 5'8". Maybe I'd be better. Maybe I'd be sick at soccer. That low center of gravity.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't.
I don't think I can go lower
I'd-
than that though. I think
Not as a
that's
center
just
back.
like you're on
I'd
your
go
own, boys.
down 3 inches, 5'9". I would give up
You-
more inches from other areas. I'd be more fine with that.
Are we
He's got a
talking
lot
shoe
to give.
size?
What's that?
If we did
hand
a
size?
cumulative, if we did like 3 and 3, I'd be good with that.
3 and 3. Yeah, you got a lot to
Talking
give
about
I'd
the
there,
year.
be,
bud.
Give
I
it
think
all
I'm
up.
fine. I'm married. I'm good.
Hannah's in the
Game
other room.
over.
Whoa.
Poor
Fuck
lady.
you, Colombia. You're not winning any World Cup soon.
What's Hannah think about this?
She doesn't watch the pod.
It goes, she
Hannah,
won't
leave a
see any
comment.
of this. It doesn't matter. All right. This is getting a little off track, so we are going to end it here. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do whatever you want. Send it to a friend. Send it to your grandma. She loves soccer now. The game is growing, and grandmas love it. Until next time, though, Burnley Sheffield, keep an eye. Peace.
Later.